You know the vibes. Welcome to another episode of the Hoop Genius podcast brought to you by NBA 2K25. If you want to support the show, you enjoy these podcasts, then make sure you hit the link in the description and get your copy of NBA 2K25 pre-ordered. That really helps to keep this show going. It's myself, Mooncey, alongside me as always, the one and only Mr. Scott Perry, and Mr. BJ Armstrong's in the building as well. How you guys doing? BJ, you gotta earn the intro.
Hey, I'm trying. Hey, Bo, all I can do is try. I show up. That's all I do. I just show up, Bo. That's all I do. Hey, I do what I do. You know what I mean? Hey, I do what I do. So you guys have been holding it down. I got to give you and Scott. You guys have been incredible. And I was out messing around in Vegas, messing around in Salt Lake while you guys were just grinding away.
You were working. You were taking care of it. So,
I hear it.
You were on what we call an excused absence.
I wasn't load managing.
You weren't load managing. Exactly. You weren't load managing. Yeah, we let you know. We let you know if you were load managing.
Okay. We've been putting in work. We should do a corporate retreat. You know how big companies do it. There's only 4 of us, but we should do a corporate retreat. You should go to the Bahamas or somewhere. You know, get some sunshine.
Exactly.
Wait a minute. It's 4. Where's the 4th? Where's the 4th?
But behind the scenes.
Come on, man.
Hey, I always gotta check both because most say things sometimes you don't catch on. You gotta re-listen to the episode.
I'm sneaking a +1 onto the plane.
Exactly.
Guess what? We're gonna land in the Bahamas. I'm gonna tell her, you gotta hop on the plane back.
Okay, I just want to make sure,
Well, fellas, it's Friday. It's the end of the week, and I want to start off by showing my appreciation and saying thank you to all the fans who tweeted how much they love what me and BJ do on TV. Because today Sky Sports announced an 11-year rights deal to show the NBA over here in the UK, and a lot of the people have been tweeting, letting them know who they need to be rocking with when they do those shows. And we appreciate you guys. We don't know what's going to happen. We've got no information for you at this point, but we'll keep you updated. But fingers crossed, we might be back on your screens on a regular basis, and might even have Mr. Scott Perry with us too.
Oh man,
I enjoyed it when we did the game this year.
Oh yeah,
awesome.
The watch along was awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna try work. I'm gonna try work my magic, and fingers crossed we can see what happens. But we've got to give back to the people. So today we're answering their questions. If you want your question answered live on the show, we usually do this every Friday, but playoffs kind of interrupted, and then the off season. But we do it every Friday. You just got to join the Discord server. It's a great community in there that talk basketball every single day. You can join that through the link in the bio as well. So the first question comes in from FNK247, who says, thoughts on the new draft picks this year, which is a very general question. So I'm going to give you guys to just pick one name that you think is going to be the most impressive this season. Scott, I'm going to start with you.
You know what?
That's a big question.
That is a big question.
There's 60 players to choose from.
It's about fit and
exactly. We've seen some summer leagues. We saw.
BJ got a chance to see him up close, but I'm gonna go with Mr. Dalton Connect.
Man.
And here's why. First of all, he's a experienced collegiate player. He's 23 years old. Physically, he's capable of coming in and playing right away. From just a physical standpoint, BJ knows how important that is. It's not, he's not, quote unquote, a developmental player. What he has to do is just figure out his matchups night to night in the NBA, get used to playing the speed of the game, all of those kind of things. But he has a skill that team needs, and that's perimeter shooting. LeBron, AD are going to need somebody on that perimeter who can be relied upon consistently to make shots. And he has a coach now, first-time coach in J.J. Redick, who was a shooter himself. And so I believe that J.J. Redick is going to pour into this young man. He was there in time to draft him and have a say in drafting him. So I'm going to go with Dalton Connect as a guy to really watch this year, and I would figure that he has a fairly impactful rookie season, because they're going to need it. This Lakers team is going to need it, especially during the regular season out there in Los Angeles. It's going to be under the gun, a lot of scrutiny, but I'm going Dalton Connect.
BJ, what about yourself?
Well, that's a great pick, Scott. And, this is just a very interesting draft. And it was interesting for a lot of ways because you didn't have the Wembenyama, you didn't have the big names, number one at the top of the draft, okay, that everyone agreed that's going to be a star. Okay, so that's what made this draft very interesting. There were a number of players, but I agree with Scott here, and the reason because of his age and his maturity and his body is ready to play like right now. Okay, of course, I got to start off by saying I know I'm biased in saying Isaiah Collier.
We can get to that. There's another question about that. We're going to get to that.
Yeah. No, but
right.
But because I'm a firm believer, especially with young players, whose body is ready to put into an 82 game season and schedule,
yes.
and you got to have a certain physicality that you have to bring. I think there will be a lot of good players, maybe 2, 3, 4 years from today. But
yes,
but I will say this: I'm going to leave Isaiah here. The Connect kid, I thought was terrific. I mean, that was to get this kid at 17. I thought he was without question a top 7 or 8 player.
Yeah, that's why I had him.
That's why I had him at the top
10.
Now,
I had him top 10.
I'm going to tell you one of the guys that really surprised me. There was like 3 or 4 guys that really surprised. Zach Edey is ready to play.
Good call.
NBA
Good call.
Game.
Good call.
Mm-hmm. He's ready to. Good
call.
Is there something? Is there some things that he probably will have to catch up on, switching and all those things? But let me tell you something. He's going to be a problem, and he will be able to set amazing screens, and he will get opportunities because you got to deal with the guy he's screening for, which will be Ja Morant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you can't switch on him. He's too big. So there's no switching in that game.
Yep.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So I was like, he can do something. All right. I really liked him. This kid, Stephon Castle, his body is ready to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's coming in at the hardest position, the point guard position.
Yeah.
But having a player like Chris Paul that will allow him to figure it out, I really expect him, like all young guards, to really take off in the second half of the season. But defensively,
second half of the season. Yep.
But
I can see that.
But what I see, Scott, with him, guys, he can defend right now. He can defend on the ball right now at a minimum of 2 positions. Yeah. So between Stephon Castle, the kid Zach Edey, I thought was good. And then who else I kind of liked a little bit? The kid Donovan Clingan.
Mm-hmm.
He really showed. He showed like Scott. He really showed some things that he could be in a year or two an elite rim protector. And when I say elite, he knows how to do it. Is he the athlete? No, he may not be the athlete. But Scott, he knew how to play, and he knew how to play in the structure of. He knew how to anchor a team defensively as a young player. So there were some really young players. I'm sure there's some guys I'm missing.
You know who I'm looking for?
Yeah, okay, I was going to just comment real quick on that list there.
Yeah,
Castle and Clingan, those are winning basketball players.
Yes,
2-time national champions, and there's something to be said for that when you draft guys from programs that have won big and particularly won a championship. They understand what it takes. We talked about this on the show yesterday. Doing the little things. Who's going to do the little things when we talked about the Olympic team? These guys understand that, and they're going to be asked to do that right away for their teams to get on the court, both Castle and Clingan.
And
I wanted to add that.
Yeah, and when I saw those guys play, I was trying to look at the game from a lot of different positions. I was like, if I was a coach, those 2 in particular, because you could see that they could do something in the game right now.
Yes.
And both of those players. So those 3 players really kind of stood out to me as far as maturity and being ready to play in an NBA game on day one. But those other guys, you never know. And who's going to, develop. But there were some really good players that I liked out there, but they weren't as close, or I didn't see them as quickly as I was able to see them. You know, maybe I'll see them early in the season and say they'll be, you know, they're going to be such and such. As you look at
Mo, give us your name because I have one more name I want to discuss.
It might be the one I'm thinking of. After watching the summer league, I think Collier Ware.
Okay,
yeah, from Miami
champions.
Mo, we're here.
Come on,
Yes.
come on, guys.
Exactly.
I watched him one night have like 20 and 15.
Yes.
He was fascinating to me because they had terrific guard play, Miami.
Mm-hmm.
They had really good guard play. And as you know, at the big, that always helps. But he was really, really good. He had some fundamentals to him, and he had a much better base than I anticipated. You know, coming from our guy that we both know, Scotty, you know,
Mike Woodson.
Woody down, yeah.
Woody did a great job
down there. Yes, he did.
Great
so
job.
he is another player that I was thinking, God, this may give them an opportunity to move
Bam over to the
four a little bit.
Way overdue.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna fast track him. I could see that. You know, Miami does.
How old is he, Scott? How old is he?
This is his second. He was a sophomore. He played 1 year at Oregon, transferred
He's 20
over to Indiana.
He's 20 right now.
20,
yeah.
So he's a young player. But one thing that I know, going back to the start, you know, when I started in the NBA back in 2000, no team did a better job in terms of conditioning their athletes than the Miami Heat. And so they're going to get this guy's body right too. That's the only thing right now. You know, he needs to get a little bit stronger, a little bit bigger maybe. But I really like him, and there's a lot to his game that is evolving. He's going to be able to shoot away from the basket.
Yes, he did a really.
He's got a post. He's got a feel in the low post.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the teaching he's going to get there. I believe he's going to be one of the better players from this class when it's all said.
I agree. I agree with that.
Well, we have a question from our resident #1 Utah Jazz fan, Andy Williams.
Oh,
he says, how's Collier getting along? Is he the future starting point guard for the Utah Jazz? BJ as his agent, I'm gonna leave this one to you.
Yeah, you know what? Listen, Isaiah was very, very, very happy, and it just worked out. Sometimes things just work out. That was a great fit for the Jazz. Is a great fit for Isaiah.
Danny Ainge knows what he's doing.
Danny Ainge, and I've always had the utmost respect for Danny. Danny just doesn't miss. He doesn't miss when it comes to like drafting and hiring. And I thought the Jazz overall had a terrific draft.
Yes.
I thought they had with their three players. You know, this kid, Cody Williams.
Yes,
I thought he was terrific. Filipowski,
the steal on Filipowski, who they thought would go quite high up. He went to the second round.
And then you get Isaiah. So do I think Isaiah has a chance? It's like any of these kids. You get a chance. He will have a chance to be the best version of himself. I don't want to put pressure and say he's going to be, but I will say this. And being able to watch practice, being able to watch the summer league games, it's a great fit. I think it's a great fit for everyone, and it fits their timeline, as Scott will attest to. When you have a timeline, when you commit to developing young players, you got to commit to playing them in the game. So he will have this opportunity, and now the only thing is you don't know. You don't know how they will respond to the workload that's going to be expected of them to be able to earn those minutes, right? Just because you're at a place that's working with young players doesn't mean that you're going to play. So it's a great opportunity. Isaiah has a terrific body and size as a point guard in this league. He has speed, quickness, passing. So it's a great fit for him, and hopefully he'll play there, and finish his career there. But certainly it's a great fit and a great opportunity for him to come into this league, learn how to play, and play in a place where it fits the timeline. So it's a great fit.
That's what stood out to me, was his ability to get downhill, get in the lane, use that speed, the body, and the strength. Because as you guys know, the worst thing that can happen to a defense is penetration. And so a guy like this can get in the lane, live in the lane, night in and night out. He becomes a problem for opposing defenses. And he's a willing passer, which is important. So he's going to be able to draw help, find open people on the perimeter. I think he will continue to grow with his ability to make floaters and finishing at the rim. His perimeter jump shot is developing. I like the form. He stepped up and shot a number of shots this season. I thought to look very in the summer league to look very comfortable. And and I watched this guy in high school. He was the top point guard in his high school class. So there's something to be said for that. I know that they didn't have the type of year at USC that most people expected, but those things happen. So again, great situation for him. So now it's up to him. He just got to go take it.
Yep.
The opportunity's there, but it's up to him to go take it.
Those are some of the prospects from the 2024 NBA draft. AG wants to know who are some of the early names that we should be looking at for the 2025 NBA draft. Of course, highlighted by Cooper Flagg, who was on that select team who gave the USA squad a run for their money. Cooper Flagg's going to come into the league and I think he's going to be fantastic as a rookie. And I've got no doubt in the future he's going to be in MVP conversations and all the rest of it. But what other names have you got?
Cooper Flagg made a name for himself, practicing with the U.S. Olympic team. He was part of that select group, and from all accounts, practiced very well. So I agree with you, Mo, that he is someone that should be able to step in and help a ball club when he does get drafted right away.
Big Boston Celtics fan as well.
There's a name that I watched in the McDonald's game. Two guys. One guy, Ace Bailey.
Yes,
I believe.
Yes,
Arius is his real name.
Pardon me. What's it? Arius.
His real name is Arius, apparently.
Arius. Okay, but I just remember Ace, and I love the name because his game was an ace when I saw it. So.
Hey, you're doing something right when everyone knows you by your nickname.
Exactly, and 6'8", the prototypical wing size, length, but his ability to put it on the floor, he could shoot it. Just the versatility where the game is at today. He is that type of player. Again, we're at a disadvantage, haven't had a chance to meet any of these young people, but just watching this game from afar, his skill set, someone definitely for the fans out there to keep an eye on this season. And then BJ knows this young man, and I got a chance to watch him at USA Basketball because we both know his dad, and he was a teammate of BJ's, Ron Harper's son, Dylan Harper. And they're both are going to be, as a matter of fact, both of these guys, he and Ace Bailey, will be playing at Rutgers together. So look out for Rutgers this year because they've got two of the top 5 freshmen in the class, and
I think two of the top 5 players. I think two of the top
5 players. Exactly. 2 of the top 5 players. I'm sorry, in the class. And so these guys are going to come in and carry a huge load. Ron's son is a point guard. He's big. We talked about Isaiah being big. Dylan is maybe even a little bigger than Isaiah.
Yep.
He was the MVP of the McDonald's game. Again, a strong guard that can get into the lane, understands how to use his body, good basketball IQ. So those two guys really stood out to me when I watched the McDonald's.
Let me ask you guys this. If 2 of the best prospects have committed to Rutgers, why? I've not really heard a lot of big name commits wanting to play there. What is it about their program that's been able to attract these 2?
Well, Harper's other son, his older son, played at Rutgers. Ron lives right there in New Jersey, not far. So I'm sure the ability to stay close to home, Dylan was appealing to Dylan. And BJ knows this, and Mo, you know this as well. These guys become friends on these AAU circuits and in this USA basketball circuit. So I'm sure there was a lot of talk. There must have been a connection there that, hey, let's go play together. And now with NIL, if you can come up with enough money, there's a lot of different schools that these guys would go to now, not just the
Kentucky and
Blue
Duke.
Blood, the Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina. If you have enough NIL money, you can get in the game. And so obviously Rutgers did a great job of recruiting them, and it would be my strong belief that they were up near the forefront in terms of NIL capabilities and trying to attract these two guys to their school. So
fair play, fair play. Big Con has a question about the NBA this season. He says, with the West being stacked and only 2 teams trying to tank, which 3 teams in the West do you think are most likely to not even make the play-in? And out of those teams, who would it be the worst for?
That's interesting.
So which teams are going to
3
miss out?
teams won't make the play-in?
Yeah. Because
Out of the good teams? Well,
because I think he's counting the Trailblazers and the Jazz as automatically out. So
okay, he's counting the Trailblazers and the Jazz out.
5
Okay,
teams finished from 11 to 15. So
Right.
if you
Probably
put
Portland. Would you say
No,
Portland?
yeah, yeah.
Probably
So
won't
so
make
he's
it?
just said
he's
so we
included
can't
Portland.
you're right. He does. We can't mention Portland or
Utah.
Utah. Is what you're saying?
Yeah. So you're looking at the Western Conference. 10 teams are going to be safe. The other 5 teams, one will be Portland, one will be Utah. Who's going to be the other 3? Do you think San Antonio are ready to make it into the play-in or playoffs?
They're going to be pushing awful hard to get there. That's why I'm not ready to rule them out. So
I think
quickly.
Golden State is going. I think Golden State is not
unless they get Lauri Markkanen.
Mm-hmm.
So Golden
That's
State
true.
is that one? Okay, 2 more teams, BJ.
Hey, look, I'm worried about this team because of the loss of what they had, and the health is. What about the Clippers?
Yeah. What about the Clips? Let's talk about them.
What about the LA? What about the LA Clips?
So Warriors, Clippers. Give me one more team.
I know New Orleans is. I mean, I think they'll make the play-in, but so much depends on Zion staying healthy too. Because look, how I look at it: OKC, Denver, Minnesota, Dallas would be in. I do, as disappointing as Phoenix was last year, the addition on the sideline of Coach Budenholzer, I mean, will make a difference and will energize them a little bit.
I'm a channel my best version of Mo. What about the Lakers?
Yeah. I didn't want to be the one to say it.
I know you did. So I'm just going to say it for Mo. Just so
exactly.
Mo can get it. Come on, Mo. Tell us why the Lakers won't make the playoffs, Mo. Tell us.
I mean, just looking at it from the outside, you've got a first-time head coach who was a podcaster for the last 3 years, who's now an NBA head coach for the first time. No real roster upgrades that you can see compared to last year, where last year they finished outside of the playoff picture and just in the play-in picture. And that was real close. I think there was only 1 or 2 games separating like 6th and 10th. And AD, he's been healthy and he looks healthy now in the Olympics, but playing Olympic basketball over the summer, how much is that going to wear on his body? LeBron James, another year older. So that's why you can make a case for the Lakers. But which team would it be the most devastating for if they weren't to make the playoffs?
If the Lakers, it's that. If the Lakers didn't make it,
see, here's the thing. I
devastating.
think it'd be more devastating for the Golden State Warriors.
Why is that?
Because Steph Curry has had a couple of interviews in the recent days where he said he wants to compete, he wants to win.
Right.
And someone asked him about his future, and he said, "I've got to think about what's best for me because I want to win." Now, if they can't even make it to the play-in, they might see the face of their franchise demand his way out that no one ever expected.
Well, I read what he said, and his thing was he didn't want to play on a team that was openly trying to play to the bottom to rebuild.
Yeah,
is kind of how he put it. So as I look at the Warriors, even though they lost Clay, they still went out and signed Buddy Hield, and they went out and who else? I'm missing one more that they
Melton.
added. DeAnthony Melton. Thanks for that, Mo. They're still trying to win. So long as, to me, it's the energy and the mindset, is trying to win. You got to figure that Kuminga is going to get better. It would be a big blow. I'm not saying it wouldn't be a big blow to not be in the play-in, but I just think, look, the Lakers, we talk about the Lakers. When I say we, I mean the entire sports world talks about the Lakers. And as long as LeBron James is in uniform there, You're going to continue to talk about that. And I just think if some way, if they did not make it, oh man, can you imagine the attention and the negativity and all of the stuff that would go into those storylines for that team, you know, new coach, all of that, that would be catastrophic for that organization. And because look, the Lakers, again, they are one of the iconic franchises in the history of this league. There's two teams when you talk about it, it's the Lakers and Celtics.
Yeah, one of them's talking about going back to back. The other one's talking about making the play-in.
Oh,
Just so we're clear. Just so we're clear. Okay. Look, do you think that Steph's comments, though, in his interview, just going back to that, do you think those comments were to apply some pressure to the front office to make that Lauri Markkanen trade?
No, I don't believe that they would pressure the play. Steph doesn't strike me as that kind of guy anyway. I mean, they know. I believe this, and BJ is dealt closely with that organization on the other side, being an agent, but they know what's facing them there with Steph Curry. And I believe they feel a responsibility to Steph Curry to do all they can to try to put as much around him to give him an opportunity to win. Now, again, opportunity to win versus an opportunity to win a championship are two different things here. And, you know, I believe they're a longer way from being a championship team. A lot would have to happen for that to occur again for them, in my opinion. But for them to be a solid playoff team, I got to believe just, you know, being in San Francisco, being in that arena, they're not an organization that can look to or afford to say, hey, we're going to go to the bottom and build this thing back up again. They've got to maximize Steph Curry until the wheels come off, if you ask me. So, and you want him to retire a Golden State Warrior, if you can. That's what I believe. From the business side of it as well, too. Just, you know, business, the whole thing, you know, to make him one of those rare players that you draft, develop, watch him grow. He's already helped win you 4 titles. You know, do everything you can to help him win as much as possible and finish his career right there at Golden State.
We got another question from Talawakane, who says, what are Greece's chances of making it past the first or second stage in the Olympics? I watched Giannis in the qualifying games and he looked like championship unstoppable. Greece are in Group A, where they'll face Australia, Canada, and Spain, a very tough group. And the top 2 teams go through, as well as 2 of the best third-place teams. Where do you see Greece finishing in that group, BJ? Me and Scott talked about this the other day. But which 2 teams do you think will automatically qualify from Australia, Greece, Canada, and Spain?
So you have Australia, Greece,
Canada, and Spain.
Canada, and Spain.
I think Canada win that group, surely.
What you would think. If you just went on, you know, as far as tradition and what it probably looks like on paper, I would say Canada for sure, and Spain will probably be there. Now, Giannis is capable. I said, seem like I'm just on repeat. You can't bet against the guy. I mean, he's just he's going to bring it. You know he's going to give you maximum effort. It's a 40-minute game. He plays so hard. He plays with passion. And let me tell you something. There's going to be a lot of energy for him to advance. I mean, he's playing because he feels certainly, and they feel that they have a chance. You know, I saw him I was in Germany. I was in Berlin for the Final Four this year, and he was there. And I was thinking, I was like, God, he was there, and his brother was playing in the Final Four. I think they won the Final Four this year in Berlin. But he looked like he was ready. He was very focused. He was into it. And I'm sure this would be a massive, I mean, if they were able to medal or advanced, that would be phenomenal. So I'm sure he's up for it. He understands. I happen to be following Greece on social media most. Yeah, I'm getting better, Mo. I'm following. And he gifted the entire team. You know, the I don't know
the free
some shoes.
Exactly.
I need to get some of those. You know, I got to go out and buy those. I like. I was like, where's my pair? I've been supporting you for years. You know, so but no, I'm going to say Canada and Spain.
Okay. And then you think Greece can finish third and then get through to the next stage anyway?
Yeah, I want to see Giannis. I want to see the best. Australia is listen. Australia is always
there's no slouch. There's no slouch.
They're gonna be good. They're gonna be very competitive. So I think there's gonna be a very competitive group. But I think overall, regardless, which are you in the first?
That might be the toughest group. That might be the toughest group, top to bottom. Right?
Yeah.
We talked about that. What was the other group?
Serbia, South Sudan, Puerto Rico, and the USA. And then in Group B, you've got France, Germany, Japan, and Brazil.
France, Germany,
Japan, and Brazil in Group B. And then Group C, you've got Serbia, South Sudan, Puerto Rico, and the USA. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. We have one more question about the Olympics. Who do you think will be the biggest surprise, the biggest underperformer, and the top 3 teams? That one comes in from Quig or Quaig. I can't pronounce. I think it's an Irish name. Please forgive me, brother. So, biggest surprise. Who do you think is going to surprise? Well, I think South Sudan's already surprised everyone.
Well, but that's pre-Olympics, though.
Yeah.
Right? And this question is dealing with once they get into the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
The biggest surprise team. Oh, man.
Why you thinking, Scott? I'm going to say Canada. I'm going to say Canada.
Yeah.
You calling them a surprise? Yeah.
Well, I want to say this. I'm going to say this. You know, FIBA, you know, basketball reminds me of some type of hybrid between college basketball here in the States and the NBA. It's some type of hybrid. Dennis Schroeder is going to be a problem because he's going to give them excellent guard play because he has speed and quickness on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
I just don't see anyone matching up with Shea. I just see Shea being a major problem in this tournament. And Schroeder a year ago was the MVP, right? They were chanting MVP, weren't they, Mo? Or did I just hear that?
Yeah, the World Cup.
The World Cup, he was MVP.
He was MVP. So I'm going to pick, just because I love the guards, I'm going to pick Germany and Canada as the teams that are going to be like major surprises in this tournament, just because of their guard play.
Okay. Scott, what about you?
A lot of the picks, I don't see Canada as a surprise, probably because of how good Shea is, and they have a number of NBA players on the team with Shea, and R.J. Barrett, Jamal Murray, Lou Dort. I mean, from a perimeter standpoint, they're gonna be able to match up with all the teams, in my opinion. You know, they're gonna be highly competitive at that 1, 2, and 3 position. I worry about them on the interior a little bit when teams get physical. Don't know enough about the Serbian team other than Jokic. How good are the guards with the Serbian team? So I wouldn't call them surprise. My surprise team may be, when you say surprise, because they're not getting a lot of attention, it could be this Australia team.
That's a good call.
Could be, you know,
Giddey.
Josh Giddey. All right, he's been traded, so now he's got something to prove now. Let's see how he channels that inner. I don't know if it was anger or disappointment or whatever from being traded to OKC to Chicago, but an opportunity for him to really showcase what he can do as a big perimeter player. And and then you've got, you know, some veteran players like Patty Mills is there. Exum playing with them. Dante Exum playing the Australian team. Their team, because they have a lot of those guys have played together for a number of years, come up in that Australian basketball system. And so that can pay off in a tournament like this. Shorter game, 40-minute game, just that, knowing how to play with one another, really unified. They've got good shooting. Joe Ingles playing with them as well, and with the group, Mo?
He should be. He usually is.
Yes.
They've got
Yes.
Dyson Daniels, Matthew Dellavedova, Dante Exum, Josh Giddey, Josh Green, Joe Ingles, Jock Landale, Paddy Mills, Duop Reef, and then a couple guys who aren't in the NBA.
So they have some good representation from the NBA. And they play, watching the friendly games, they end up beating France by a point, right, at the end.
Right.
And they played the U.S. team fairly tough as well, too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be my surprise team. Is
who do you think will be the biggest underperformer?
Oof.
Team-wise, is that the question, or player?
Team-wise, yeah, I assume so. Or player-wise, we could pick someone obscure.
Underperformer.
Yeah, biggest disappointment. Do you think it could be France? Because they haven't looked too great in these warm-up games, and they're at home, and there's all this expectation. Their guard play worries me quite a lot. Like, I like their bigs, but their guard play is an area for concern for me.
Fournier he's not a point guard, but he's always played.
I don't think he's playing.
He's not. He's on the team.
Is he?
Yeah, he should be. Evan, the roster. Evans, he's normally been on the team unless he's hurt.
I know Nick Batum is on the team, but looking at the final
they
roster, Frank Ntilikina,
Germany.
Nicholas Batum, Yabusele. Oh yeah, Fournier's in there. He wasn't on the list the other day when I checked.
Because he and Dennis Schroeder got into it in one of the friendly games.
Oh yeah,
he got tossed out of the game.
Oh yeah.
But Fournier has always played well in international competition.
Yeah, Nick Batum as well.
Nick Batum, like I said, they got the size. They don't have that speed point guard that
Frank
BJ like.
Well, they should have called up Pistons legend who just signed with the Brooklyn Nets today, Killian Hayes. He's sitting at home waiting for a phone call.
Yeah, not having that guard who can get downhill could be, could be their undoing. But that would be if they don't make it to the medal rounds, that'll be a disappointment.
Okay,
that
so
a huge disappointment.
Which three teams do you think are grabbing the medals? USA, and which other two?
Yeah.
BJ,
Well,
let's have your medal predictions.
My medal. Well, the biggest disappointment I think is going to be USA.
Even if they win.
Even if they win, because everyone's going to say, "Well, they didn't," because they're going to be compared to '92. Whatever they do,
they need to stop comparing them to '92.
Yeah, whatever they do, then if they win by 10, well, it's not enough. They're supposed to win. If they win by 1, oh, they're not good enough. If they win by 15, well, it wasn't 25.
Right.
So I think that's going to be a disappointment. But I do think they will medal. I think that's important. I'm just gonna go with the home cooking. I just want to see Wembanyama, how he's going to respond in meaningful games.
So you got France winning the silver.
I'm just saying medal. I don't know how this is going to go.
Okay.
I'm not convinced.
Okay.
I'm not convinced that, and I'm going to go Canada. I think Canada is going to. I think Canada is going to go in there.
You agree with those three, Scott?
Yeah, I agree. Again, it's hard for me to go. We talk about going against Giannis and Jokic. My gut tells me that the Serbian team probably is a little stronger top to bottom than the Greek team.
Yeah.
So they would be my only caveat to those three is Serbia, the one to watch, because they're going to be tough. They have the elite or one of the elite for sure players in the entire tournament. But I do like I'm a big fan of the Canadian team. Boy, I just wish they had just a little more physicality up front. If the Canadian team had a little more physicality on the front line, they would be a serious threat to win it all. To me. But that's what they're lacking. That to me, that's where they come up short against the USA. When the USA wants to go big and physical on the interior, I don't think that Canada.
So what you saying that they are
match up.
Bam away from winning the whole thing?
Oh, if Bam went over to Canada right now, it'd be a real problem. It'd be a real problem.
I don't know how they're going to pull that off. Maybe he'll do an
exactly.
Embiid
I don't know if Bam's
a passport. But,
exactly.
only time will tell. The Olympics get underway this weekend, and next week we'll be bringing you podcasts about the Olympic basketball. So make sure you lock in with us. Subscribe to the show, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast from. Enjoy your weekend, fellas. Anything exciting planned?
I'm just going to be getting ready for the Olympics. I'm gearing up. I'm excited for the Olympics. I'm excited for this. So, go ahead, Scott.
I am playing in my own little competition this weekend, a golf tournament.
Okay,
in Orlando. It's with some friends and associates from my time working up at the Orlando Magic. They put together this Ryder Cup.
Okay,
and so
you're going to be on the next episode in a green jacket.
A 2-day event. So I'm going to go do that this weekend and have some fun with it. See some friends I hadn't seen in a while, and hopefully I can hit it straight down the fairway.
Well, I'll speak on behalf of all our listeners when we say we're rooting for you, and we want you to come back in the green jacket when you win the Orlando Magic Ryder Cup, or maybe it'll be a blue jacket. I don't know what they're doing. But we'll be here on Monday, and you can let us know how it goes. Appreciate you, fellas. Appreciate you guys who tuned in. It's another week of the Hoop Genius podcast. Again, if you want to support the show, click the link in the bio in the description to get your copy of NBA 2K25. And until next time, get buckets.